In this video, I'm going to show you how to trim out a pocket door, and we're going to do it right now. So here I have a pocket door, and I did a video on how to install a pocket door frame kit, how to do the actual framing for the pocket door, and I got a bunch of requests to show how to do the trim. So I'm going to show you how I do my trim. Yours might be a little different, but hopefully you can get a good idea of how to do it by watching this video. A couple things to think about before you do the trim. Obviously, hang the door, and when you install the frame kit, put it where you want to have it. For instance, I have a door opening here, so I pretty much line this up where I wanted it to be, close to where I wanted it to be. I also already installed my handle here because I want my trim to be flush with the door, so that way I can actually open it, because it would be difficult to open if I didn't do that before. And we need to make a couple adjustments to the door before we do the trim, and that's what we're going to start with. My pocket door is a soft close, so it worked out where with this framing I'm about an inch away, so all I have to do is shim this out in order to get that even. You might have to add a bumper to the back of the door to make sure it sticks out enough to where you can get trim here. I'm fine with that, having a 1/4 inch shim here and here. And then on the other side here, this stopper can be adjusted either way. I think this is maxed out right now. So if you close this, you can see that will stop it. And right here, I have about 3/4 of an inch. So I might need to adjust that just in order to get my trim where I want it to be. We're gonna do this trim first, and that will determine what we're gonna do for trim on the other side. In order to drop this down to make this plumb, your kit should have come with a little wrench that looks like this, or you might have to fashion something to get up here, to get on this little nut right here, and this is where you would adjust it. So I'm gonna go this way to drop it down just a little bit. The other way would be to raise it up. You just keep an eye on your level as you do this in order to get your door perfectly plumb. And if you don't want this to drop down too much, you can also raise this side up. So now our door is perfectly plumb when it's closed. We'll just double check when it's all the way open, and it's perfect. If it wasn't, for whatever reason, I would suggest splitting the difference, meaning do it a little out of plumb on this side, a little out of plumb on this side, instead of doing one side perfect and the other side more out of plumb. So now the door is plumb. I'm gonna close it again, and I'm gonna check on this adjustment right here, the stop. I'll measure this right here. And I just basically want enough room to get my trim in there. So now after adjusting off of this point, that's 5/8. And then check down here, and that is about an inch, maybe 7/8. So I want to have at least 3/4, and I'm gonna do a little more so I can just get some shims in there. So I'm gonna bring it back this way just a little bit. Try that. So now I have just shy of 7/8. Check the middle, 1 inch, and down here, about 1 inch. And I'll just check the other side, just in case. 1 inch, and a little over 1 inch down here. I'm gonna be using pre-primed pine because this is gonna be all painted. I got 1x5, which should work because this is 4.5 inches. If you have to rip something down, you can. And I just want to get a measurement from the finished floor up here. We'll do 80 3/4. Just get this out of the way. Make sure all the drywall's cut back enough so your trim can go in there. Square and end. 80 3/4. this is gonna go like that. Just check it, looking good. And now when we close this, as you can see, this is gonna be kind of tricky getting this in here nice and flat and nailing it. So what I'm thinking is I'll put a couple of shims in before, and I think it'll be easier. So I have a scrap piece of pine that I'll use. Close the door, hold the pine there, take it away, and shoot some shims in here just to get it close, and then we can make micro adjustments afterwards. If I hold this here, I just want to figure out which shim is going to work. I got these flat shims. That looks good. So I'll take the piece away and put this one right here. I'm just using a pin gun. I'm gonna put my piece of pine in here, hold it even with the drywall, and shoot it in. Shoot right where those shims are. I got that nailed at the top and bottom. We're just gonna check this. That looks pretty good. So we basically just don't wanna see any daylight here. Want that nice and tight. Might have to shim it at the bottom, but I'm gonna nail this whole thing off. So right here, you can see light. I want to close that up, so I'm going to go just below that shim and where I nailed it. Shim in here, and on the other side. I'll do that same thing wherever I need to, and I don't have to nail it again. When I go to put this trim on, that will hold it in place where it needs to be. I got my trim nice and square like this, and there is no or very minimal daylight showing through here. That's nice and tight. Now I'm gonna cut all these shims and get them out of the way. The side's all set. Now we're gonna concentrate over here. And as you can see, I have metal studs and they don't even have wood on the inside of them. So I'm gonna have to do a little extra work that you may or may not have to do if you just have wood. You can put your pieces up and nail them, but my gun is not gonna go into this and it wouldn't hold very well anyways. So basically, I wanna leave a gap kind of like that, maybe about an 1/8 of an inch on either side. And I would prefer this to be nice and even, the same measurement. So I'll take a look right here. I'm doing it at the top because I know that this is center as it's hanging down. So if I hold it an 1/8 inch away, looks like I got an 1.5 inches over there. That will work. Here, an 1.5 inches will work as well. Just want to double check that at the bottom. I've marked an 1.5 inches right here, and I just want to check, make sure it's going to work. If I just let the door hang the way it's going to hang, that gap is going to be smaller. I don't want it that small. So I could rip these by hand to make sure the gap is perfectly even, but instead what I'm going to do is split the difference. So I think I'll rip these pieces to 1 7/16 inches. That will give me a little bit bigger of a gap here than this, and then a little bit bigger of a gap at the top than I really want, but I think it'll be totally fine. And I do want to mention these guides for the pocket door before I move on, because some people like to attach them before the trim like this, and then they will kind of mortise this out and put the trim over it. But two things, I want to be able to adjust it in the future, but also this framing won't really allow me to do that because they have to be about here, and I'm just not going to be able to attach them in any way. So I'm okay with having my trim like this and then putting these in, and I'll show you how to make this look a little bit better than this when I get to that point. But for now, I'm just gonna rip 2 pieces, 1 inch and 7/16. Sand this a little bit, make it nice. I'm going to put the pre-primed side towards the door. This will be easier to finish. And I'm just going to check this out. So at the top, the gap's going to look a little something like that. I'm okay with that. And then at the bottom, as this door settles, it'll look something like that. I think that's going to be perfect. Check the other side, and something like that. So I'm going to have to shim this out, make it nice and flush with the door. And to attach it, I'm going to use these screws that came with the pocket door kit, actually. They're self-tapping, and I'm hoping I can just pre-drill in here, and then I can just fill it and sand it, paint it. Look at that. Perfect. I just got to do that a bunch more times. Obviously, when you do this, don't go so far that you hit the door. So we can install these while we're right here, but as you'll see, now they won't drop down far enough. But I am gonna cut these because I don't want this piece sticking out. I'm only gonna need this part of it. So I was gonna cut it anyways right here. So when I cut it, I'll also take a little bit off of here. Not the greatest thing in the world, but that'll be fine. See, hopefully I can just drop it down. I think that's gonna work. Perfect. Now we can do the top. I'm just gonna double check. I know this side's gonna be good for my 1 inch and 7/16. And over here, 1 inch and 7/16. It's gonna work. Check the other side. Good. So that'll work. And we're just going to get a measurement in between here. Check the other side. 16. I know that this side is perfectly plumb, this side is perfectly plumb, and when I put this in, I want to make sure that it is perfectly level, so that way my miters work out and they're nice and tight. This could probably go down just a little bit over here, like that. So I might put one shim over there. I'll just shim it wherever I have to. But with this piece, I want to make this removable. In case I ever have to do any kind of maintenance on the door, replace it, whatever the case. I like to make my life easier for my future self. So if I have to adjust, like I was showing earlier in the video, right here, and I'm also gonna do the other side because that's where the clips are. A lot of times people will only do that side, make that side removable, but I wanna do both in case I have to adjust it, minor adjustments up and down, or if I have to take the door off completely. So you do whatever you want. So I'm gonna go into this right here. I'm gonna pre-drill some holes, line this up where it needs to be. I'm just gonna do 3 screws. Just gonna pre-drill the pine. I'm gonna use these trim head screws that are really long, a little aggressive, but these will work. Just shim this side down just a little bit. Sometimes I use playing cards for micro adjustments. Now we just want to make sure this operates correctly. So now, if you wanted to, some people like to do like window stop just to add a little extra look, and that will definitely hide any gap that you might have, but that's totally up to you. And all I have left to do is the casing on either side of the door, which is the same if you were to trim out any kind of door. And I have tons of videos on doing trim like this, but basically it's up to you, whatever trim you use. The only big tip I would give you is that remember, right here, you have a pocket door. So check the size of your nails. Don't go using long nails and shooting into your door. And we have successfully trimmed out our pocket door. And there's a couple different ways you could do it. It's all up to you, whatever your preference is. But if you needed to do something like this, I hope the video helped. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. My pocket, but sorry for questioning your ways. I can't tell. I can't tell which way is which. You want to do that over again? Split the difference. You tell me.
He's perfect.
Yeah? Get out. Now, because this is going to be really difficult, I have some, you know what I mean? Is that the red or the white? I know, I'm moving. Square. Try that again. Christ on a cracker. Don't show this. Please hold. Nope. These shims are all screwy. Oh my God. Lauren, I can't do it. I need full shims. Whoops. I'm gonna cut these shims right now so I don't poke my eye out. You'll shoot your eye out. That all good? Mm-hmm. Are you sure? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to do it again? Put a tiny shim down here because this is, oh, and it's gonna fall right through. Am I in your way? Maybe I'm not gonna do that. It didn't reach. My boot farted. Ah, fingers in the mud. Ah. Nice solid wall. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here goes nothing. Yeah, a little melted. I like to do myself favors. The ace of spades. That one didn't work. Why didn't it work? I think we're good.
muscles. Say, ooh, muscles.
Do we need to talk about muscles right now while we're on film?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know, Lauren. Do you like my brand new floor that I'm messing up? Oh, now I'm in trouble. Lauren, can you hold this? Shoot down towards myself. I don't have a ladder and I don't feel like going to get it. So it could be pretty dangerous. And I'm still just gonna do it. Oh, it happened. I hit the screw and it came out. Oh. And we have successfully, that's not a soft close anymore.